there, Mama. I'm Courtney Cecil, proud mom of two boys and an organizational culture and behavior change executive. And I'm a believer in building a movement to help the burned out, overwhelmed working moms reclaim their control and free time so that they can confidently remain in the workforce without losing the sanity or themselves. Now, let's get started.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Life Management System. I'm your host, Courtney Cecil. And inside this episode, I am so excited to host Angelica Ventrice, the founder of the Line Method. So, Angelica and I met through a colleague that works with her. And let me just say that her body is an absolute goddess. And after years of intentional work, she's
Oh my
able
God.
to now lead. Oh, so true. So true. Like, you are goals, Angelica. And I really believe that we were led together. It was just such a serendipitous moment that we were connected. But she has helped over 900 women on their wellness journeys. She's been a coach for over a decade. So we are so lucky to have her here today. And instead of just having her introduce herself, I'm actually going to just hop right in, Angelica. That way, I think so much of your journey and so much of the accreditation that you bring and the connection you bring to what the women you help will come out in some of these questions. So the first question I've got for you is, why did you get into wellness in the beginning, and what specifically do you focus on?
Yeah, so I got into it because 15 years ago, I had my own transformation journey. So I was overweight, I was doing pharmaceutical sales, I was burnt out, I was exhausted, I was bloated, just, the grind, the hustle, right? Like all you ladies listening can relate, building my career, but not focusing on my health. And it took a toll on me. And one day I kind of looked in the mirror, I'm like, I just do not like what I see. I don't like how I feel. And I hired my first coach and he helped me lose 40 pounds. And it was through that transformation journey of releasing that 40 pounds of weight that something kind of gut punched me and was like, you need to help other women achieve this. And I appreciate the compliment on my body, but I also do want to clarify that I'm way more than just a body because I get tagged like that
For
on social media.
sure.
Oh, are you
For
a
sure.
fitness coach? I'm not a fitness coach. I'm not a personal trainer. I'm a life transformation and a business coach, actually. But it started with the body because I do believe the body is the portal. It is the gateway to greater health, to greater wealth, right? To finding that abundance in all areas of your life. So I went through that transformation journey and I decided like this is what I want to do. I want to help women not just lose weight, but just feel aligned and confident and magnetic in their bodies to lead them to be more successful in their careers as well, better parents, having better intimacy, all the things it trickles into, really, right? Like when you're aligned and confident and healthy in your body, it trickles into every area energetically. So yeah, originally I did start with personal training. I left my pharmaceutical sales career, moved from Cali to New York, started personal training, built that up, worked my way up in a gym, and then decided, no, I'm in for more than just fitness. And because I felt like I was like deeply coaching these women that I was helping. I'm like,
Hmm.
should I be a therapist? Like, what's going on here? And that's kind of where the coaching came in and helping them with everything like you do as well, with the stress, with the burnout, with the fatigue, with the exhaustion. And that's how I got very much into gut health. So what we specialize in the Align method is not just getting women to their most aligned body, but it's really stress management, it's gut health, because really if your gut health is off and you have widespread inflammation over your entire body, you're not going to feel good, you're not going to have energy, you're going to have the brain fog. So deep gut health, deep mindset work, and behavior and habit change, because at the end of the day, if you want to transform your body or really any area of your life, it comes down to that mindset piece. So it's not just about eating these foods and doing these workouts and getting your steps in. It's like, what is your past life? What is your trauma? What are your stressors? And looking at the individual woman as a whole. Sorry, that was long, but there we go.
No, but so much underneath that. And I'm gonna just package the whole thing. What I think you do more than anything is help women actually prioritize themselves. Because
Totally.
whether that be in the life changes and dealing with some of the trauma you talked about, or just prioritizing investing in them, like you're saying, hey woman, like you deserve to
Yeah.
be a priority in your life, and you help them figure out what that looks like for them, and
Right.
chase
For
something that most of us we don't
yeah,
do. Women inherently don't prioritize ourselves.
no, and they're, people, like, I think one of the biggest things we help women within our program is breaking the people pleasing tendencies and helping them
Ooh.
create boundaries so they can put themselves first, feel confident, feel aligned, learn how to say no to everyone and everything. And finally, like you said, just stand in their power and put themselves first.
Mm, I love that so much, because so particularly around the stress, that's one of the things that's actually what made me reach out to you in the beginning when you were put on my radar by your colleague. It's the fact that we both focus on stress. But
Mhm.
what you just said, the learning to say no, that's very hard for many women. And it's like I spend my day job is in corporate. I spend a lot of my time in corporate, and it is perpetuated in a very male dominated
Mhm.
industry.
Totally.
Like corporate, if you treat corporate as a whole as an industry. So I think the fact that you are also helping introduce those type of concepts to them in the context of bettering themselves is those are life skills, as you mentioned, Angelica. It's their habit changes.
Yeah, it's habit behavior changes. It takes time. It's not a short month, right? It's not a few short months because if you're, most of the women I work with are 35 plus. So if you've lived in this kind of mindset of people pleasing for 20 plus years of your life, it's going to take a lot of work to deprogram and then reprogram, but that's okay, right? And that's where like the mindset piece is so important to the coaching we do. So
Yeah. Yeah. So, can say a little bit more about that around the length of time? Because I think that that is something some people have an expectation that it's way longer or way shorter. And I think
oh
just calling it out is going to just
well, let's
say,
call it out what it is.
yeah.
Let's actually call it out what it is. The old saying 21 days to build a new habit is complete BS to me. It
Hmm.
actually takes 18 months for this new habit. This is scientific. It actually takes 18 months, 16 to 18 months for this habit to become part of your lifestyle. And then it takes 3 to 4 years for a new identity shift. So whether you're on a weight loss journey, you're becoming an entrepreneur, you're starting a new endeavor, whatever it may be, don't just think you snap your fingers and in 3 to 6 months, everything changes. It's not like that. You have to really sit in, excuse my French, your SHIT. You have to sit in your
Uh-huh.
stuff. You have to meet the hard pieces. You have to meet the shadows. You have to have some ego deaths. You have to go through all these things to then propel yourself. So it's not a short little thing here. Whether that's body transformation, your mindset, your habits, whatever it is, it takes longer. So sure, you can get
I,
a great transformation in
yeah.
6 months, but that doesn't mean you change your core identity.
Right. Right. And probably to your point, are your habits even going to be sticky enough to remain?
No, not
And
every.
yeah, that one of the things that I really believe is that the investment in a coach is inherently a commitment in saying, I choose me.
I
I
choose me.
choose to get better because it's not something that happens overnight. And I'm a believer that experts use experts. So
I've had the same coach for 3 years and I'm re-signing with him. I'm finished this month and I'm continuing on. I believe in long-term mentorship. So that way that coach can get to know you on a very, very deep level as you grow and as you change too. And they know all the facets of you. I have women who have been in my program since it first started. So
wow. Yeah, but
yeah,
I also love that you just acknowledge, hey, I also invest in a coach. I
multiple,
really, yeah,
multiple different times. I have like my
yes.
one main one and then I'll work with some other ones as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
You can't
Okay,
lead
so
others, like especially if we're talking to high level women in corporate like you cannot lead others if you can't lead yourself.
yeah, agreed. And to your point, you mentioned earlier feeling confident in your shoes, being able to hold your shoulders back and know that you're your best self and be able to
Yep.
just own that space for you because that I mean that's magnetic for the people
Totally.
you're leading.
Yeah, totally.
So knowing that you're also in the stress space, a lot of the reason that people come to me or come to you is that they are dealing in a place of chronic stress.
Burnout.
So while we approach the way we solve it very differently, it is and when you're in the messy middle of life, whether that be most of my audience has kids,
Same,
most of them are in very demanding jobs, like,
same.
okay, you're in a
Yeah,
place of chronic stress.
yeah.
What's
You're looping into chronic stress, and yeah, it's yes,
Yes.
the impact on
It's a
the impact on the
swirl.
body. Yeah, it's a swirl. And the impact on the body. What I think women don't realize is, so they come to you for stress, or they come to me really for like the whole kind of body life transformation. And what most women, especially women, 35, 40 plus and beyond, is the impact it has on their gut health. One stressful incident is enough to change your entire microbiome. What does that mean? That means that think of all the stressful events you've had in your entire life, and actually your gut microbiome is formed from the time you're in your mother's womb. So now let's think about the stress that your mother was under, and then you come into this world, and then what happens when you're a kid? Maybe you got bullied, or you had heartbreak, or you had trauma, or your parents got divorced. All these things are affecting your gut health. And then you have the stress of your life now as an adult, which is also affecting your gut health. And you're wondering, like, how do I get out of this weight gain, this fatigue, this burnout, this bloat, this exhaustion? And it's actually addressing the root cause. Well, the root cause is all these events, but it's addressing the gut health. Because yes, you can give people all the tips in the world to, and this is no knock on what you do or what anyone else does. You can give people all the tactical tips, but if you don't address what's going on the inside, even if they decrease some of the lifestyle things, they still have that inflammation in their gut. So they may not be feeling optimal. So it's important to address both, right? Okay, you can do XYZ things to decrease stress, but also let's take a look at what's going on the inside so you can really have optimal energy from that physical standpoint too. So you can decrease bloat, so you can sleep better. The gut health is just such a huge piece of our health, and it's so underlooked. Like, most health coaches do not address it. They're like, eat these foods, do these workouts, cut calories, fat loss, blah, blah. It's like, great. No, we're, as humans, especially as females, we are way more complicated than a macro calculator. Like, let's be real. So we have to address all facets. We have to have what you do to help them manage their life, and then what I do as well. It's that perfect combination.
Yes, and what I found to be true in my own experience addressing stress. So I had incredibly high cortisol levels. I was absolutely just swirling. And what I
Adrenal.
found is that I was not able to get good sleep. Then I got sleep anxiety, which made the stress even worse, which made the cortisol worse. Yeah,
Cycle.
exactly. Yes, it was a cycle. It was
Literally.
awful.
Yeah, I have a masterclass called Reset Your Metabolism, and literally one of the slides is a cycle of like stress, hormones. It's like, it's the vicious cycle, right? You're stressed out, your gut health is poor, then you can't sleep well, right? And then increase in cortisol, then it skews the rest of your hormones, ghrelin, hunger hormones, leptin, and then your cortisol, and then the estrogen. It's a vicious cycle, which is why the first thing I tap into with our clientele is gut health. Even if
Oh,
someone's
wow.
like, I don't have symptoms, I'm like, it doesn't matter, you have inflammation in your gut. Because like I said, if
Yeah.
you think about your entire lifetime of all the stress you've had, you have inflammation in your gut.
In addition to impacting the microbiome in your gut, what other physical impacts does poor stress have?
Well, right. So high levels of stress, it impacts your gut, and it impacts your hormones. And some of the symptoms that a lot of women don't even realize, we can talk about, like the chronic fatigue, the exhaustion, right? And then there's other things that will happen that they may not even be connecting. The constipation, the digestive issues, their skin not looking glowy, or maybe eczema, all these things at high stress, joint pain, all of these physical symptoms can come from high stress, because that high stress is affecting the gut microbiome, which is directly related to your entire body, your health. Brain fog, digestive issues, vaginal infections, urinary tract infections, like we said, poor sleep, weight gain, bloat, digestive issues. Chronic stress will really, really do a number to your body. Migraines, when I was in complete burnout, chronic stress, I had horrible migraines. I mean, chronic stress can also lead to candida and leaky gut. So it affects chronic stress, and gut health really are so interrelated, as you can see.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say is that stress really is the trigger point for many gut health related problems, and poor gut health is really what opens the door for all of those
Yes.
issues that
Yeah.
you
All
just
those things.
shared.
I mean, women who are getting like cavities, even that's related. Like, if you're going to the
Wow.
dentist, it's related to
Yeah.
so many things. So many things. The whites of your eyes, if they're not clear and they're more yellowy, that's a sign of poor gut health. I mean, your liver is off. There's so many things. And it typically comes from, because I myself, when I got leaky gut from being in stress and burnout, I was eating well, right? I practiced what I preach. Like, go to my page, you'll see, like, I practice what I preach. And I was like, how can I be so sick? And my doctor was like, what's your stress level? You were so stressed and you were running on E. And then that's when I got introduced to meditation, which really changed my life, because as a high achiever, which you are, which the women we work with are, we
Yeah.
are go, 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 go. We are do, 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 push, 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 but we don't take a step back to slow down. And that really
Yeah.
creates more stress in the body, more inflammation, which leads us to feel like crap and look like crap. Let's be real.
Yeah. Okay. So I do want to unpack that. When I was going through all of my sleep problems, much of which was contributed to cortisol and stress related problems. When that was going on, I also started meditating, and I do really well at night when I'm going to bed. It helps me fall asleep, but I
Down,
do
right?
really bad in the thick of the day. It is, I know it's not a strength of mine. I know it is something that I need to work on. Talk to me about your journey too, because I'm fairly sure when we first spoke, you mentioned that it also was harder for you to slow down to do it until you realized like how much it actually transformed you. Talk more about that.
Yeah, well, as a super high achiever, type A New Yorker, like from Long Island, New York, you're just wired. I believe that like East Coast people are wired a little bit different than
Yeah.
West Coast, and I lived in both, so I can attest. And now I live in Hawaii, so I can really attest to all the different areas you grow up and how they impact you. And growing up as a New Yorker, high achiever, expected to get certain grades, make a certain amount, do the things that really carried into my like adulthood life, right? And when I got really sick with leaky gut and candida, and that my doctor told me I needed to meditate, I was like, what in the world are you talking about? That's so dumb.
Hmm.
I couldn't even like do a yoga class without thinking it was so boring. But just
Hmm.
like any other habit, I committed to it because clearly everything else I was doing wasn't working. Eating
Yeah.
well wasn't necessarily working, right? And I was working out in the wrong way, which is another thing that a lot of women do. I was working out way too hard, way too much, burning my body out. So I started the meditation, and I started with 5 minutes. Maybe in the beginning it was even 3 minutes, and I downloaded the Headspace app. I liked the guy's voice, but it was really hard for me. And now I've been meditating for 7 years straight. But in the beginning, it's hard, just like any other habit. And I was
Wow.
more sporadic with it. But then what I did, I set an alarm on my phone that really says, get the F up and meditate. And every morning when I woke up, I saw it. I'm like, I got to do this. Because for me, I
Hmm.
was like, if I want to feel better, if I want to feel good, confident, aligned, energetic, and that was like right when I became like a shift in my business to online, you need a lot of energy to run an online business or when you're an entrepreneur. And I was like, I need more energy. I'm so burnt out. So I took it very seriously, just like as if my coach were to prescribe me strength training 4 times a
Hmm.
week. I
Hmm.
prescribe meditating every day. And I don't really meditate much in the middle of the day unless there's something that happens that causes my stress to go up too much.
Hmm.
But I do it in the morning, and I typically will do it sometimes in the evening, but every morning I do it every morning.
Well, that just so for you and I that spend our time helping other people build healthy habits,
Mhm.
one thing that I love about what you just said is if it's something that you value and it's something you're going to prioritize, you make sure you do it at the beginning of the
Yeah,
day because you know it's going to happen. You know, throughout the day, things are going to
exactly.
wreck your schedule, but because
Absolutely.
you prioritize it, you're going to put first things
Just
first.
do it in the morning, just like what I tell my clients with their movement, like saving it for the evening after a busy day at work and you come home, you have the kids, you have to cook, you have to do the things. You're not going to do it in the evening. For some clients, maybe that's the only time they can do it. But meditating first thing in the morning rather than looking at your phone is the smartest thing you can do because what happens with a lot of
Mm,
busy professional women is they wake up, they brush their teeth, they did it, then they check their phones, and then it's like, that's it. Then you're in complete reactive, high stress mode. You did nothing to turn inward and do something for yourself in those first 5 minutes of the day, which are
mm,
crucial.
yeah. Gosh, I love that. I mean, you are nailing the audience, nailing the habits of the audience when you
So
say
yeah,
that. So,
15 years working with that type of client, you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
like I basically have worked with this type of woman for a very long time.
So at what point when you started your meditation journey, could you actually start to see the difference? Was it in your physical body or was that in the labs that you were getting? Like at what point did you
So
notice?
it's hard to remember at what point I noticed because that was 7 years ago when I had the
Yeah.
leaky gut candida. So it's hard to exactly notice. But after, I mean, the protocol, like I would say after a few months, like when I got my lab work, it was better.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I would say 3 to 6 months I
Wow.
felt, yeah. But I mean, that's for like the more physical changes, but the immediate feeling in your nervous system you will feel immediately from a meditation or just like five
Mhm.
minutes of breath work. Like when we do breath work on our coaching calls, like sometimes I'll lead just a 5 minute one. I have a breath work coach, but if I'm leading the call, sometimes I'll just do literally like 2 or 3 minutes of box breathing, and
Mhm.
I can see everyone's body relax. So you will feel
Mhm.
immediate benefits from breathing and slowing down if you're
Mhm.
intentional about it.
Yeah. So, meditation, box breathing, are there any other simple habits that women can incorporate into their daily routine that are fairly easy to implement that
Yeah.
you
I
think
don't
will
like
help
to
them?
overwhelm because if you're not doing any of them, I could sit here and say meditate, ground, journal, this app, but pick one. So for
Mhm.
you, if you're like meditation feels completely crazy, but I've journaled before and I kind of like it, then do journaling. Do a brain dump. Do a brain dump at the end of the day. Get all your thoughts out. Anything you want to write, release that stress. Box breathing is really easy to do. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4. You can do that anywhere, anytime, right? Maybe in the morning it's writing 3 things you're grateful for. Just doing something to really reset your nervous system. A gratitude has been literally scientifically shown to rewire the pathways in your brain to calm your central nervous system down. So doing just little things like that. Don't try to do it all. Don't be like, okay, she said breath work, journal, meditate. What? No, just pick one
Mhm.
thing and then baby step and then compound when you're ready. Like, because if you try to do it all, you're going to do none of it. You're going to get overwhelmed.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I always tell my clients, like, we need to choose one snack-sized
One.
habit. We're gonna implement that habit. We're gonna turn it into a habit. We're gonna keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it
Yes,
until we've really got that embedded in our
exactly.
routine, and then we get to add number two.
Exactly. And everyone's different. Someone could meditate for like a month and be like, this feels so good, I'm ready to add something else. Someone may
Mhm.
not feel that way. So to each his own, but
Yeah.
for me, it's meditation. I'll journal here and there, but for me, it's meditation. And living in Maui, I have the luxury of grounding every day. So I'm in nature every day. Yeah.
Oh, that's a pinch me moment. I'm so jealous as I sit here in Charlotte in the rain right now. But one thing that I also want to call out that you said, again, on the timing and just the reality of what transformation looks like. So I believe fully in this tool called an Apollo Neuro. And it's essentially a neuron tool that tells your brain, hey, this is what you need to do now. If you're a high anxiety person, then you can wear it when you're in anxious situations. For me, I used it to train my body to sleep. So I love that it was not invasive. But I tell people that if you use a tool like that, it takes 6 months for it to start working. It is not a magic bullet, but over time, what it does is it zen my body and it helped train my brain. This is what we're supposed to be doing now. And that is a lot behind meditation, is it's telling your brain like, hey, you need to be in a different state.
Yes.
So
Calm down.
yeah, exactly. So that I'll link the Apollo Neuro in the show notes. I've got a $60 off coupon code. I'm a
I've heard of
huge
it.
believer in it. It
Cool.
is it's a neuron tool. It essentially just it tells your brain what you need it to do. Great for sleep, great for anxiety, great for high stress.
That's good.
But it's not something that happens or works overnight. Okay, so I want to
Enough.
go back to recognizing the signs of stress because a lot of women know they feel stressed, but they're missing early warning signs that they're about to hit a roadblock and either about to hit burnout or about to hit to a place where it's doing damage to their body. What signs, or whether it be behaviors or thought patterns or that sort of thing, should they be looking for to make sure they never get that far?
Yeah, unfortunately, so many of them are already that far. So I think things like feeling disconnected, like disconnected perhaps from your partner, from your kids, from your career, from your business, like a feeling of disconnection, I would say, when you're in high stress. Obviously, poor sleep, like we talked about. Most women tell me they're bloated, but I think obviously when you're high stress, the bloat is going to be more unexplained weight gain. Like, it's like I'm eating right, I'm doing all the things. Well, but the scale keeps going up. That's a sign as well. Um, Feelings of depression and anxiety, like feeling more sad, moody, is definitely another sign. And then I think those are a lot. I think those are good. I would say that those are the most common.
Yeah, pulling the thread, you said that um, s- there are tendencies that are, or people will say, I'm doing all the things. I'm eating the right food. I'm doing the exercise. But sometimes the way we are eating, the way that we are working out is causing stress on our system too. And those are the unknowns. Like if you're doing all the things and you're still not getting results, stress is probably at the center of it, regardless if that's something that we are superimposing because of our schedule
Right.
or ways that we are unintentionally doing by thinking we're adopting healthy habits that aren't actually healthy.
Stress, poor gut health, and past trauma. Because if
Yeah.
you are someone who's like, well, I'm not really that stressed and I'm eating well, um, or maybe I'm just a little bit stressed and I'm eating well and I'm walking, I'm doing the things, then we need to actually go back deeper because you could be holding on to
Yeah.
emotion and trauma that happened way earlier in your life that you haven't released. So that's where the whole like metaphysical aspect to body transformations, so to speak, comes in. Because if you are, yes, there's stressors in your life, but if you're also holding on to emotions and things that happen to you and you haven't worked through, your body keeps score and your issues live in your tissues.
I love that. So it's a great opportunity, Angelica, to talk more about what your program is and specifically what you help women with. Because I'm sure some of the listeners are hearing you talk and they're saying, that sounds really neat. And she just went right over my head. So can you help break that down
Yeah.
and put it in the context of what your program is and how you work with women?
Yeah. So to start, it is a 6-month program, just like or yours is 6 months too, right? To
Yeah,
start.
mine
So
is 6 months too.
we start with 6 months because it's a good starting point, but obviously you need longer to truly transform. So we help women. It's a life and wellness program. So some women come to us and they don't have any weight to lose, and some do, but they're just feeling not confident, out of alignment, bloated, uncomfortable in their bodies. They're very busy in their life and their career. So they're typically business owners, real estate agents, executives, and they have children. And like we talked about in the beginning, they're putting themselves last. So it's teaching them how to put themselves first, changing the behaviors, changing the habits. So, yes, we do sustainable, customized nutrition. We do a gut health protocol. Even if you don't have symptoms, we're going to make sure that you're eating gut friendly foods. For some women who come to us, if they have SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or leaky gut or candida, they're going on a specific protocol. So everything we do is customized and it's unique to each individual. But overall, we do everything from nutrition to gut health to mindset coaching. We have a trauma informed coach. We have a human design coach. We have a theta healing coach. We have Coach Nicole, who's my director of coaching, who handles all things health. We have Coach Lisa, who does gut health and hormones. I oversee everything. And then anyone who works with me, it's one-on-one business and life coaching. So yeah, we the Align method has kind of two pathways. There's the Align method, business and life coaching. Then there's the Align method, which most women are in, which is the wellness and lifestyle transformation coaching.
So, and the kitchen sink is in there too, apparently. You've got like, you really do offer it all.
We
Very
do.
comprehensive.
It's evolved over the years, right? Because I
Yeah.
started out just mainly being like a fitness coach who like I had coached runners to eat better and PR. That's how I started. Then I was coaching women with polycystic ovarian syndrome because I have PCOS. Then I was like, none of this feels aligned. And then I started to notice I get a lot of real estate clients, and I was like, this is my client because she's a high achiever. She likes to make money. That was me when I did pharmaceutical sales. So I found like who I really connect with, which is similar to your clients, like those high achieving women, whether they're in corporate or they own their own business. We're high achievers. We have big
Yeah.
goals, and we're not settling. We're not settling in our career, but a lot of times we're settling in our bodies. And that was me. So that's really where that kind of spurred. And then I realized that I really like helping women make money. So that's where the business coaching came in. And then the mindset coaching, obviously, because I realized myself too, even after I lost 40 pounds of weight, I still wasn't happy. Like you can release the weight, but
Yeah.
still not be happy. So that's where the deeper mindset coaching comes in. So yeah, it is a little bit of everything. And I just brought in more mastery coaches to help women because it's out of my scope. I'm not a trauma informed coach. Have I help
Yeah.
women break through that, but I'm not trauma informed. So I thought it was important to bring in a trauma coach, to bring in a theta healer. And then I also have a woman who does astrology and birth charts. So it's a really cool to have all these different coaches, and the women get access to kind of pick and choose who they want to have their calls with. But at the end of the day, it is body transformation, wellness, overhauling their lifestyle, decreasing stress, decreasing fatigue, getting them out of burnout to feel good and aligned. And then if they want to go on to other coaching, they can.
And to tighten this up with a bow where you started on prioritizing themselves. So you just use the language settling on their bodies. And I think even in your program, it's more than that. They're not settling at all anymore. They're saying, I'm a priority. I'm going
Mhm.
to treat myself like the priority instead of just treating others like they are. So I just,
Others
I
are
mean,
good. Everyone else and their career is consistently becoming before them. So it's like, how can we
yeah.
help thrive in your career, build that up, but also feel confident, energetic, and aligned in your body? Show up best as the wife or the partner you are. Show up
Yep.
better as a mother, right?
Yeah. And it takes a lot of courage to finally make the commitment to say, you know what? I'm worth it. Like everybody else that like, yes, they deserve some of me, but they don't deserve all of me. And I'm tired of freaking giving all of me away.
Right. And
So
the thing is, so many women spend money on the Botox and the bags and the shoes. And it's like when it comes to investing, sometimes they're afraid to pour it into themselves. It almost feel like
yeah.
they feel a little bit guilty. It's like, am I going to be able to do this? But that's the beauty of having an expert coaching team work with you and having that level of accountability, because even the greatest athletes and the greatest coaches in the world have a high level of accountability. No one highly
Yeah.
successful is doing it by themselves.
Yep, exactly. That's what I tell people too. And I'm a believer that what we invest our time and our money and our energy in should be aligned with what we prioritize. In fact, that is the foundation of everything that I teach people. You get clear on what you value, then you get clear on what you prioritize, and when you're clear on what you prioritize, it makes where you spend your time, your
Yep.
money, and your energy very clear. And a woman that is investing in herself is finally saying, I prioritize me. And that's as opposed to your point, the Botox, the bags, or whatever it may
I
be.
mean, I love all that stuff too. I'm not
Yeah.
hating on it. I think you should do it
Yeah.
all. I think you get to have it
I,
all. That's the thing. We get to have it all. We get to have the Botox. We get to have the bags. We get to have the nice body. We get to have the thriving career. You get to have it all. And when women start to realize, oh, I can have it all, it's
Mhm.
not just, oh, I have a nice home and I have a nice car and I have a nice family and I have a great career. You also get to have the wellness in the body too. You get to
Yeah.
have it all.
Yep, I say that. I actually just had this conversation with on somebody else's podcast a week or two ago around this notion of some people say you can have it all, some people say you can't, but I'm a big believer that you can.
Yeah.
You might not be the one doing it all for yourself. You might have to outsource certain things, or
Yeah.
you
Which
might
is
not be able to do like, but you can still have it all if you get smart about how you do it. And that's why working with coaches makes a difference because it allows
also
you to
for
not have to
yourself.
sacrifice.
Yeah, and you can only see like you're in the frame and we're out of the frame, right? So when women
Yeah.
come to us, they can only see what they can see. I can
Yeah.
have a 30-minute conversation with someone and pull out all the things and then be like, wow, years of therapy and I never uncovered all these things. Like
Yeah.
I can see what others can see and so can you, right? And it's like
Yeah.
when you're living in your little picture frame all day long, you're going to just only see the same thing. So taking someone outside of that you don't know, right? This is why I tell
Hmm.
people, yeah, well, I try to like work out with my husband and do this with my husband. Like you can't be coached by like your partner, a
Yeah.
friend. Like it has to be someone that you really don't know for them to
Yeah.
see these sides of you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. The very, very best piece of feedback I ever got from a client, one said, wow, this was better than that one lesson from you, Courtney, was better than 2 years worth of therapy. I was like, heck
Don't you
yeah.
love that? You got that
Yeah.
too. Years of therapy and one call with you is better. I was like, that's amazing. So
I know, I know. Well, okay, before we drop a couple things. One, every person that I host on this podcast, I have 3 lightning round questions. Angelica, I'm going to ask you the same ones. The first one, apropos to this conversation, is what's your go-to stress busting activity?
this won't be a surprise after this whole podcast, but meditation,
Yeah.
specifically outside in nature.
Oh, I love that. I mean, I'm so jealous. I think that I could be incentivized to meditate as well if I got to be in the middle of nature in Hawaii every
Yeah.
time. But
Well, I mean, say it's probably a toss up. So if it's not crazy winds here in Maui, if I'm super stressed, going into the ocean because salt water is very cleansing energetically, but also just water is cleansing. So the
yeah.
combination of being able to dunk in the ocean, but if you don't have that and you're feeling really stressed, take a shower, grab some some sea salt and scrub your
Mm.
body. It's very cleansing.
Oh, that's good. That's a big insight for me. Thank you for sharing that.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
what's the last book or podcast you loved?
Your soul had a dream. Your life is it. Rebecca Campbell.
Oh,
And I also have
oh,
her cards. Like I pull cards for my clients and
uh-huh,
myself. So yes, I'm super spiritual, super woo. We didn't get into this.
uh-huh.
We didn't get into this on this podcast, but yeah. So this is a really great. This is about like ego death, dark soul of night, which I went through last year. Especially I went through a rebrand. I went through a lot of dark times. So your soul had a dream. Your life is it. Rebecca Campbell. Highly recommend.
Oh, interesting. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I can't say that has been in one of my reading wish lists, but I am very curious and I commit to checking that out.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a great read. I read it in a few weeks. It's good.
it was a thick book, so it looks intimidating from the side.
No, is it? Me? Oh,
I don't know.
yes. 260 pages. Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, if you could wave a magic wand, what would you eliminate forever?
I think I would eliminate the pressure that I put on myself to be perfect, show perfect on social media, have everything so perfect. I think it would eliminate like my strong perfectionist OCDness. It's just
That's
like,
so funny you say that. I kid you not. You can't see what I see in front of me, but the very next bullet I had after telling people how to find you is summarizing this with that personalization of my own story, Angelica, which is around struggling with work-life balance. I struggle to this day with extreme perfectionism. And like that adds so much extra stress to the
yeah,
body.
OCD, like when I'm looking at a funnel or trying to fix it, but like
Yeah.
it's just so that is like that I feel like because that would make me feel so much more free, you know. So like I could say,
Yeah.
yeah, eliminate doing the dishes, but like we have a dishwasher. Yeah, limit like we have a cleaning lady. Like what am I what am I listing? So yeah,
Yeah.
that honestly that's what came to me first. Like
I love that. And it's also just very ironic given what you do because
I
that
know.
is like perfectionism is a huge stressor. So no
Mhm.
wonder you were in a place with like leaky gut or what, whatever gut problems you
Yeah.
had, all from that cortisol.
Yep.
If that's are you a type 1 Enneagram? Do you know?
I don't know. I mean, I've done that test. I have it somewhere,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, I don't off the top of my head.
Yeah, I will probably if that's what comes to mind for you.
That with
Well,
the ID?
the D that would be in a disc profile that you're probably referring
Oh
to.
yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking of
Um,
the
you
yeah.
can tell that I spend all my day like being leading culture at a big bank. I spend
I'm sure
all
that
of
I
my
have
days.
the highest of the both the high, like, yeah, I'm sure that
Uh-huh.
I'm up there.
Yep. 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 Well, you are for sure a high D. But I'm willing to bet on Enneagram. You're also type 1. Okay. Last question, of course, is where can people find you?
Yeah, just go to my Instagram at the Angelica Ventrice. I'm always on there. Send me a message. Can offer you like a free gut healing meal plan. I have the Get Gutsy mini course. Happy to answer any questions about anything. I'm pretty much an open book, so anything.
Perfect. Thank you. And I'm going to link that in the show notes so y'all can get that there. Before we sign off, if you are one of those people that are saying, I feel so stressed because there are not enough hours in the week for me to get things done, that's where I come in. So I prepared a training. I'm going to launch it on March 17th. I would love for you to be there, but it is how I got back 12 plus hours in my week every single week. So would love
Love it.
y'all to tune in. I'll drop that link in the show notes too, so you can sign up.
Yeah, I'll share it with my clients too. That'd be great for
Oh,
them to
thank
come.
you. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
appreciate that. But friends, thanks again for being here. Rate and review us if you haven't already. Connect with me, connect with Angelica on Instagram. We're both very active there. But until next time, if nobody's told you lately, you're doing a great job. You've got this, mama.
You got this.
Yeah.